So there I was, 6 a.m. in the morning, panning the meat in the Wendy's fast food and loving it and enjoying myself. And all the companions at work could not understand how I could enjoy what they considered the worst job on the line. Now, there's many factors, especially from the fact that I come from South America and maybe dealing with blood and guts and this kind of stuff was not so distracting to me or making me feel distraught. But also it was this one little fact that we're going to explore on this video, which is the concept of do what you love. And we're going to kind of dissect the myths around that. So if you do what you love, that means that there's also things that you do not do because you do not love them. And this separates you into two paths. So the most unique thing about me, I think, in my trajectory in my childhood was that I never had these two paths. That didn't mean that there were things that were not harder for me, but I never did not enjoy them. And it was interesting for me then to experience other people's realities that they actually even hated some activities. For example, I loved school. And in 6th grade, when I merged to a different school, I learned that there were kids who didn't like school. And this was super strange for me. Or they disliked one topic more than the other. And I enjoyed all the topics. I excelled more in some, but I don't remember a single topic that I thought was not worthy of my effort or my engagement or me listening. I loved, and it wasn't because I loved learning. It was because of this one simple little fact that we're going to explore. But first, let's explore the concept of do what you love. That is the fad now. Here we're exploring 4 things that were a low vibration for me. And now we're talking about the 4 things that lifted my vibration up. The first one was taking this pause during COVID. The second one was going to college. And this is the video number 3 on do what you love. So, the pleasure in doing things can come from loving it, enjoying it, or you're crazy passionate about it, right? It's your thing. And those will raise you into a higher vibration because according to your mind is thinking, yes, this is for me. I love this, I enjoy this, and I should be here and I should be doing this. And so the vibration elevates. Then if the mind identifies that I do not love this activity, the activity is either boring, frustrating, or you hate it for some reason. And if your mind identifies that it's boring, frustrating, or something hateful to do, then the vibration naturally drops. Even using the words, I could even feel the vibration drop even in the delivery of the video. That's so interesting. So, what was the teaching? What was the teaching that I had been exposed to? Now, I grew up in South America, so there were many missionaries around there at that time, and I was also, I wasn't raised in a Christian school, but my mother was a teacher, and all our curriculum and everything that she used for teaching was also Christian. And I'm Christian, she was Christian, we went to the Christian church. Almost the whole world revolved around this. And not that I went in that direction. I always felt like, why didn't I end up being an evangelist? No, and they kind of put it on you like, where has God directed you to go? Why am I not doing something that is in that field specifically? But I always knew that my path lay elsewhere. It was never born in me to be involved in those activities because I had a different kind of coding. I had a different kind of message that was to me. And I fiercely believed anytime that any pastor would ever say that you speak to people through what you do already, there is no need to become an evangelical person or have your job be specifically related with the church. Anything you do can serve the Lord. So off that note, we fall into the following quote from the Bible, and it says, "And whatever you do, do it heartily as unto the Lord and not men." That's Colossians from 3:23. I had to look that up. I don't know this stuff by memory. I knew the verse, right? I knew that since child. So, but I don't memorize the stuff, right? But I wanted to put it here as a reference in case people are like, where'd you just pulled it out of your head? No, I pulled it out of the Bible. So, in my mind, imagine, from a super young age, I already had decided, oh, it's not what I do that is what I fall in love with. It's about how much my heart is involved. So it's about how much I'm loving the action. It's not about the action. It's about how much am I loving the action and who am I doing it for, right? Doing it for, like if I'm studying, God wants me to learn and have knowledge and improve myself. So in my mind, this was a part of also obeying my parents, obviously, but it was an act of love for me to develop my brain and my knowledge, and I just loved everything that any teacher, instructor could offer me, because that was the DNA of processing actions that I would do. So I loved school. I loved working at 6 a.m. at Wendy's. I was so appreciative. I always wanted to work in a fast food. So the first year that I got to live in the United States, I was so pumped to get this job. And I loved working at the Wendy's fast food. And I got promoted even to being sandwich maker. I was the fastest sandwich maker, and I just enjoyed hearing the client say what they needed and being able to put it together from the people who were standing at the register and then the people who were going through the drive-through. It was almost like a game. It was a choreography. It was an art form to be able to be like, we racked out this, I don't know what they would announce every time, like it was a $400 hour or something like this. And yes, I had several of the co-workers ask me, how come it is that I enjoyed this job when for them this was just a step to the next best thing. This was temporary. This was to, like, we have to stand this so we can actually get to where we want to be. And they didn't realize that for me it was like, I came a long way to be here. But also, it was within me that, oh, it's all about where my heart is, right? About how much my heart is involved. So this was simple math for me. And then the vibration even elevated more because I realized that it's an action. Well, first it's having your heart, right, in the right place. And then you can pick any action. And then once I was already loving what I was doing, sometimes I will receive a gift. There will be a gift, an ability where I notice, I'm like, oh, I'm actually kind of good. Not only do I love everything I do, but there's this extra little flair, like there's a pixie dust that is kind of thrown in on top of it all. And this is where the experience starts to feel surreal. This is where stuff starts to get really interesting, because my heart is already there with the intention. I'm decided that any action is going to make it work for me. I love anything that's offered to me. On top of it, landed with certain skill, ability. It's the moment when you have no name, right? You're just there, and the time collapses because you're just being exactly who you were designed to be. And then you enter and exit those moments of work where you're actually being access to the portal of your pure essence. So I had one of my clients tell me, and I wrote it down, she was one of my first clients, and I kept trying to pass her off to other people, and she thought it was so funny because since I was starting in massage therapy, I was sure that there were many more competent therapists out there that could treat this woman. That, not that I couldn't do a good job, but I was like, well, you could go see her also and see. Then she's like, I don't know why you do that. She said she stayed with me because she said, you have so much passion because you really get in there. Like she received a different delivery from me because I had that combination of my heart was in the right place, I loved what I was doing, and my gift, my universal gift, was able to flow through me, and I just live this next dimension experiences with most of my clients. Almost anyone who's really to receive body work and go the extra depth, like they're experienced receivers, then the experience is just amazing for me what can happen. And a lot of it, I'm going to say, is combined with music. I'm a very musical person, so I have tailored exactly playlist for the journey of the massage. I didn't do it on purpose. I'm like, yeah, I like these songs go together and they give me this feeling, and it was more for me. I'm like, I need this auditory support so that I can better function and better work. These songs help me. I don't think they would have minded whatever I played, they're used to anything, but the music is a huge denominator in that equation. So summing up, when you're faced with this, oh yeah, I just want to quit this thing because I want to do what I love, I'd say, the magic is not on the island, right? The magic is within you. The loving is in the intention of the heart with whatever you do. And I feel gifted, at least in the aspect that I had that. Yes, some things are more challenging for me, but I have rarely felt bored, frustrated, or hated it. I had a few experiences in college, now that I went at a later date, and I felt that there were some misuses of time that were not toward the objective. And I think just because of this incongruency where I felt I can't pour my heart into it anyway, because the time should be being like, there's times when you have to make choices, because I said I could have pulled through with it and said I can override that, I can still enjoy this activity, no problem, right? But in the end I said, I measured how much of it would be, and there I could say that I might be able to discern. As much as I wanted the certification, I could tell that, well, this is not the time that I want to be using. So instead of pushing through and doing something I don't love, I simply decided this is the time to suspend the course and move on with things that I know will bring me, that will move the needle further with where I'm going. I also realized that you don't really go to college. College might be not the right place for, I went back for entrepreneurship. This is not talking about my massage therapy career. That was spot on. But I went back to certify in entrepreneurship for wanting to generate passive income. But then, being in there a few months in, I decided that I was going to do passive income starting this YouTube channel and exploring what that would be like. And you don't really need to be taking a college course for that. You really need to be learning about the people online and doing exactly this, which is practicing practicing how to make videos at home. And all of this, to add that, if you've ever been, how could I get to that? How can I be in a state of, it doesn't matter the action I choose, my heart will always feel in the right place, and you can always be like a joyful participant in the activity. There I will have the Become Vibrant course, which will take you through that journey so that you yourself can find your own path into how becoming vibrant is actually your natural optimal self. That is actually your design. When I was younger doing these things and enjoying them, I felt completely congruent with my design. And even though it was many years ago that I was panning that meat, I can still see the pans of meat that I was putting in and taking off the plastics and stuff, because, well, it was new. It was different. It was very early in the morning, so my memory was on a blank. So it was like the first impression I had. And it was for repeated months that this was my job. And I simply loved doing it because I knew every single one of those little pieces of meat was going to be a hamburger that made someone really happy. And later on, I got to make those hamburgers. Oh, goodness. All right. So I'll leave a link. Actually, I'm not going to leave a link this time. You can just go to the platform, the YouTube platform, and there is the link for the Become Vibrant course, and just check it out and see what I'm working on if you're more interested in how can this come to be and how this can change and shift your life as well. So thank you for listening, and remember that every day we wake up stronger. Bye-bye.